Hello, my awesome third grade artists. Today we're going to be making this fun, funky lion head, and we're going to be using some yarn to make his mane. And I just love how the bright colors of it and the textures that you get with the yarn make it look really different and unique. I'm going to show you how to draw the lion, and then we'll talk about how we attach the yarn. And we're going to be learning about an artist named Eli Halpin. Let me show you a picture of her. This is Eli Halpin, and this is her painted van, and she uses this van to travel around to different art shows and do different teachings. She's an artist who is a contemporary artist. That means she's still alive and working, and she's very well known for painting animals. So Eli grew up, let me show you a map of the United States. Eli grew up in Alaska. And you probably know that Alaska is a very cold place, and she grew up there around animals that are native to Alaska, like moose and wolves, and she paints a lot of those types of animals. But then she moved to Texas. This is Texas. We live here in Mississippi, and our capital is Jackson, and the capital of Texas is Austin, and that's where she lives now, where my finger is here, where that little star is. And so she was used to living in Alaska where it's very cold, and in Austin it's very warm, a lot like us, even warmer than us actually. So she paints a lot of animals now that are native to where she lives now, and she lives on a farm, so she'll paint lots of horses and pigs and sheep and lots of fun animals. And something she's known for in her artwork is adding embellishments, like she'll add fabric or shells or gemstones and metallic paper to her artwork. And she really likes to focus on the expression on the animal's face. So her backgrounds are usually pretty simple, and she really focuses on the animal. And since we're doing a lion, I thought I would show you this painting of a lion head by Eli. And you see here she's just got a plain green background, but she uses lots of different colors on the mane. Colors you might not even think about being in a lion's mane, like there's some turquoise. And I love how she's done that. It doesn't always have to be the colors that you would think of for a lion. So you'll be thinking about that when you do your lion's mane. And then this is one I wanted to show you. Because we're going to be incorporating yarn into the mane of our lion, I wanted you to see this horse that she drew. And you see there where she put yarn, and she's got some braided yarn and fabric strips for the mane and the tail of her horse. And she even has some glitter down there. So I love how she has variety. It's not all the same material. It's not all just paint. So she uses lots of variety, which creates contrast where things are very different in her artwork. And she always has one main emphasis, her animal, and your main emphasis is going to be your lion. Okay, so we're gonna draw the face of the lion. And so your teacher is going to have a piece of this cream colored cardstock for you. And I want you to take some scissors, and we're just going to cut out kind of a long, rounded, rectangular shape. You don't even have to draw it with a pencil unless you just really, really feel like you need to. I'm just going to start cutting, and I'm kind of following the shape of the paper. Oh, that's the bell at our school ringing. I'm at Saltillo Elementary, and so that's the bell. So, okay, then we're going to go around, and my edges, instead of making them real straight and sharp corners, I'm kind of curving them. When you cut, try to remember to turn your paper. You turn your paper more than you actually turn your scissors. And I need to kind of fix this curve. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that old, and then there is my rounded rectangular shape, and we're going to draw. All right, so we're just going to be using crayons for this, or if you have colored pencils, you can use those. I'm going to start drawing with a brown crayon. Let me find a good one here. Kind of not a really dark one, so that, well, I want you to be able to see, but we're just going to draw our features. So towards the top, we're going to make the eyes. So we're just going to make these two football shapes. I'll make some with my fingers and kind of give an idea of how big they need to be. You don't want to go all the way to the edge, because we're going to draw a little bit of the mane. The mane is going to go around here, and then we're going to add to it with our yarn. So we're going to make a football shape like that, one like that. This is called an elliptical shape also. And then I want you to make the pupil, so we'll just draw a circle. And another circle inside there, long circles. Okay, now we're going to make a long nose. So just coming down from the inside of each eye, we're going to make 2 lines that go straight down. You can get a little wider as you get towards the bottom if you want. And then we're going to make a nose shape. A nose shape on a cat is kind of heart-shaped. So I'm going to make like a wide heart shape. And then I'm just going to go around and make his muzzle. Now, I want to show you something. This was a picture I was inspired from a website called croquetac.com, where an art teacher had done these. And she has different expressions. Remember I told you Eli Halpin likes to focus on the expressions of her artwork. And these are some that you see their teeth. They kind of look angry. And so you can make your mouth look however you want. This is another example. So this one kind of looks happy, but you see some teeth coming out. So everybody's does not have to look the same. It's better when everybody's looks a little different. So think about the expression you would like on yours, and you can do that. I'm going to do this on mine. I'm going to give the muzzle. I'm going to start at the bottom of the heart, and I'm going to go around and attach to the top. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to make a mouth here. Now, I could go in and add the teeth at this point. You don't even have to make that bottom part. Remember, this one didn't have the bottom part. It just had the teeth coming off the muzzle. And then again, see how those different mouths look on those? You decide how you want it to look. And you can make some little whisker dots in there. And then we'll think about coloring it, okay? So when we start coloring, I'm not going to color this whole thing. I know that you can do that. You think about what colors you want. For the eyes, I'm going to go in with like a green, a really bright green, pressing down really hard with my crayon. The harder you press down, the darker it is. And then for the pupil, lions have these long slits for a pupil, so I press down really hard and make that. I would repeat that on that side. And then, let me just show you mine. When you get to the places where you're coloring around the lion, I didn't color perfectly all over. Let me get an orange and kind of show you. Let me find a good orange. So around the eyes, I did it darker, but around the features, like the eyes and the nose. But as I got further out, I kind of made some lines like this and just gave it some texture. So there's lots of ways you can color. And I just kind of blended it and gave it texture. Did all that all around. And let me show you mine again. I went in on this part, the nose and the muzzle, I went in with a yellow, so a lighter color. And then after I finished all of that, I went all the way around it. I could go in with my orange and do like this, because this is his face. I hope you can see this. Oh, it's kind of light. And then you can take all different colors that you might have, like this is a magenta, and just make lines that go out. I'm making these really fast lines that I'm pressing down kind of hard. And that would be how you make the mane. That just goes all the way around. You would finish that out. Then maybe I would go in with a blue. Whatever colors you want. Oh, look at that pretty bright blue. Remember how we talked about it doesn't have to be the same colors that are in an actual lion's mane. You'll go all the way around. You can go back in with some orange, just to give it some orange. They can overlap a little bit. So, like on mine, you'll just go all the way around, creating that and just coloring all of your face in really nice. Try to really take your time and do a good job and make your lion face look nice and neat, so it just really looks like you've put some effort into it. After you've done that, you will punch some holes going around your lion. Let's see. I'm going to start. You've got some hole punches that your teacher can let you use, and she'll sanitize them in between uses. But you'll just go in with your hole punch, going around. You don't want to get too close to the edge. Leave a little bit of room, and just making these about, you can kind of tell about how far apart I'm making them. If you make them too close, you're going to be putting lots of yarn, but you want them close enough so that you can use a good bit of yarn and make this look really nice. So you'll go all the way around. See how in this one I went all the way around. Then your teacher will cut some pieces of yarn for you. And I've tried to include all different colors of yarn and textures of yarn so they're not all the same. But I'm going to show you how to make a slip knot. And that's how we will attach it. Let me put mine over here. I use a slip knot to attach those. So you're going to take your yarn and you're going to fold it in half. And the two ends are going to meet up. You're going to hold them down there close to the end and pick up your paper, and you go through the back side. See, I'm turning it on the back, and I come up through the hole. And then, so I've got this part that I just brought up, and then I've got a little loop back here. You just stick the ends through it and kind of pull it. And it's a knot that would come undone, but it'll hold good enough to stay on that. Now, to really make it look funky, because we're doing these funky lion heads, you can go in on some of the pieces of yarn that I give you and just take your fingers and kind of separate it. That'll give it this kind of like a curly look to the hair and make it look more hair-like, more like a lion's mane would actually look. So you just go in, and then that's what yarn is made up of, these little bitty smaller pieces of this wool or whatever your yarn's made of. And so you just kind of get some different edges. You could also take like a fork, a plastic fork, and do the same thing and comb through it, and it would separate those also. And just kind of get them back out. You have to work with that a little bit. But it's really, it really, if you'll take the time to do this, it'll really add a little extra to your piece of artwork. Okay, so you'll have some like that, and then use all different colors. So let me show you one more time. This is a different kind of piece of yarn I have. It's a little too long. I think I'm going to cut it just a little bit. So I've got it again. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to take the two ends that meet up and come through the bottom. Sometimes you have to kind of twist them and get them really small so they'll go through there. Come up. So then you've got the two ends and you've got a loop. You're going to take the two ends and go through the loop and just kind of pull it. Don't pull so hard that you tear your cardstock. And then again, go in and kind of separate it some. This one's separating a lot easier than that thinner yarn. When you're putting your yarn, try to think about putting different kinds of yarn next to each other. Don't put them all the same color. Don't put all the same type of yarn. Mix it up and it'll look even better. Okay, so you just work with that and get it how you like it. And then when you're finished, your teacher will give you a piece of black paper, and you're just going to use some Elmer's glue, and you're going to glue your lion to the black paper. And the contrast of that dark black paper with this lighter colored yarn will really make it pop and look good. And I cannot wait to see what you do. See you next time.